Breaking. A Florida man was disqualified from a local poker tournament after attempting to register a live alligator as his tag team partner. Witnesses say the gator wore sunglasses, refused to post blinds, and still played tighter than half the table. 3 poker players were injured in this incident. Anyway, I just got to Florida after leaving Texas. The games are tighter, the vibes are weirder, and I'm kicking off my first session here to see if I can keep my dream alive and make $10K a month. So let's go!
Bet it on me, let it ride. Broke white boy, put it all on the line. Lucky me, lit the Sin City on fire. Money on the floor, watch it double 10 times. Bet it on me, let it ride.
Hey guys, welcome to Florida. In the first session, we're playing 2-5 at One Eye Jack's poker room. First hand here, EP leads. We ISO to $30 in the button with 10-9 suited. Only the EP calls, so we're heads up to a flop of King 7-5 with 2 diamonds. EP checks it over. In a synchronous pot in position, I'm betting small. I bet $25 into 62 and he calls. Turns the Jack of clubs, so when he checks it over, what is his range? When he check calls our small sizing on the flop, he doesn't have a set of 7s, he doesn't have a set of 5s, he doesn't have 2 pairs. So the best hand he could have here is King 8 or some flush draws. He started with a short stack, probably about $580 effective. So on this turn, I would like to bet small again because if he have hands like King Jack, he would be raising. And also with the small size, I can keep his King X and flush draws in. Anyway, we bet $50 on the turn and he calls. River's a 5 of spades. And surprisingly, he leads $200 into 212. We got 10 high here, nothing much we can do. He only got $100 behind. I'm not going all in here to fold a king. So I just fold here and he shows us the king of spades. Next hand here, low jack leads. We ISO to $30 on the button with ace-6 offsuit. Low jack calls, heads up to a flop of 9-7 deals with 2 spades. He checks it over. In a single raise pot, I bet $25 into 62 and he calls. Turns the 7 of diamonds. He checks it over. On a pairing turn, I would like to bet small again because if he hit a trips on the turn, he would be raising facing a small size. So I bet $25 into 112 and he calls. River's an 8 of clubs and he leads $100 into 162 again? Why everybody is just donking into me on the river? Alright, so what is his range? I think he could have some 9-8s, some pocket pairs like pocket 6s, pocket 5, or some straight draws and flush draws. So the 8 on the river completes some straight like Jack 10. But also, would he be bluffing with missed flush draws? I think in general, if they are bluffing, they would tend to use a small size. So I think with this big size on the river, his range is just value heavy. So I elect to fold. In this hand, low jack limps again. We ISO on the button with 6-8 suited. Big blind and low jack calls, so we're 3 ways to a flop of Queen 5-4 with 2 clubs. Checks to the hijack who leads $50 into 87. We got a straight draw and a backdoor flush draw here, so we put in a call. Big blind calls also, so we're 3 ways to a turn, which comes 7 of clubs, completing the front door flush draw, and also we hit our straight. Big blind and low jack checks it over, so what are their range? I think when low jack chooses a relatively big size on the flop, leading out in a multi-way pot, I think he probably has a strong hand like Queen X. And also, if he is leading out with a flush draws on the turn, he would just not be stopped betting on the turn. So most of the time, I think I have the best hand here, but maybe the big blind has a flush here. So I would like to choose a size that let the low jack continue with his Queen X and also make big blind to raise if he has a flush. So I bet about half pot 125 into 237, but they all fold. Alright, next hand here, hijack leads. We look down at King Queen offsuit in the small blind and we ISO to $35. Hijack calls, heads up to a flop of Ace Jack 7 with 2 hearts. In a single raise pot out of position, I'm just checking my range. I check and he checks back. Turns the 4 of clubs, so what is his range? If he has a decent ace-6, I think he's just betting on the flop. And in a heads-up pot, I think if they happen to have a flush draws, they may start betting on the flop when I show weakness. So I think he has hands like Jack X or some pocket pairs. So I would like to put in an overbet here, putting out his under pairs and also make him continue with his weak ace-6 and bluff him off on the river. So I bet $100 into 70 and he calls. River's a 3 of hearts, completing the front door or flush. We have the king of hearts here, so I think when the flush completes on the river, it is a good bluffing spot for me to fold out an ace. So I like to overbet again, betting $375 into $270, and surprisingly, he moves all in for $683. Alright, he is never bluffing here. We just got king high, nothing we can do, so we fold. And it shows us ace 5 of hearts. He checks back the flop with a top pair with nut flush draws, and he hit the nuts on the river. Alright, this hand we're playing double board PLL bump pot. We ended cut off with ace jack 5 deuce double suited. First board comes jack x6, and the second board is ace queen 4. We have the top pair on both board and a straight draw going on the second board. And the flop goes check through. Turns a deuce of club for board 1 and a 3 of diamonds for board 2. We have the nuts on the board 2 now. Check all over to the button who bets $60. Small blind and low jack calls. With only one board locked down, I don't want to blow the pot now, so I call. 4 ways to a river, which comes a queen of spade for board 1 and a 9 of club for board 2. And buttons bet pot $300. Small blind low jack get out of the way. I put in a call with our nuts on one board, and he tables 10-9-3 deuce. He has the nuts on the first board, and we ended up chopping this one.
It's coaching time.
You got a pretty good hand here. 2 pair on the top board, and I believe, I'm not good at seeing straights, but I believe you have the nuts on the bottom board. Why aren't you raising on the turn?
When I have the nuts on one board, then I want to make everybody call. And on the top board, I don't think my hand is that good. Is jack deuce good?
Okay, but here's the thing, is like, not only do you have the nuts on one board, you got 2 pair on the other board. If you're the first person to bet, you would like everybody to call. But what you would really love to happen in this situation is to get in the money against somebody who just has like a naked 5 deuce and doesn't have anything going on the other board. Or to get somebody to fold a hand like pocket 8s, you're losing on the other board, but you just be chopping. Because they have nothing on this board, they're not able to call your raise.
And if they have pocket aces or pocket queens, we are in a good shape.
Yeah, so I would just pile in money here and then going to the river. When the button pots the turn and then he pots the river, right? He probably has the nuts on one board. But the thing is, the nuts on both boards is a straight. This guy just has a straight on one of the boards. Like, he doesn't have anything going on the other board. He's not going to want to call a raise.
But will he be folding? I don't think he's folding.
Essentially, what I'm saying is, like, you're free rolling.
Okay. Alright, in this hand, we opened to $25 in low jack with pocket 7s. Cut off 3-bet to $75. We have a pocket pair, we're pretty deep behind, so we put in a call. Heads up to a flop of queen 4 with 2 hearts. We check it over to him. He bets $70, so what is his range? I think it's a range bet to me. He could have hands like ace king, ace jack, so it's still too early to fold our pocket 7s here. I put in a call, turns the 9 of diamonds. We check it over and he bets $150. It's a half pot size bet, so what is his range? Players are under double barrel. If he happens to have ace king or ace jack here, he may slow down on the turn, but this player is kind of aggressive. I think he can still find the second barrel bluff on the turn, so I like to put in a call, reverse an ace of clubs, the worst card that I want to see. We check it over to him, and surprisingly he checks it back. We show our hand and we are good. Alright, in this hand we open to $20 from early position with 9-8 suited. Low jack, cut off button, small blind, big blind come along, so we're 6 ways to a flop of 6-5-5 rainbow. We check it over and the flop goes check through. Turns a 10 of hearts. We have a combo draw now. We check it over to them. If we face a small size, I'm going to put in a big boy check raise. But unfortunately, it goes check through again. And the river's a 7 of spade. We hit the straights. Small blind, big blind check it over to us, so we gotta bet here. But the question is, how much should we bet? What are we targeting? I mean, if they have pocket 9s, pocket 8s, or some 6x, I don't think they're calling even if I put in a half pot size bet. So I would like to go for gold here. I'm just targeting 10x to call. After checking through on the flop and turn, actually I think 10x is calling a pretty big amount here. So I like to go big, $200. Only the small blind calls. We table our hand and he mucks. Next hand here, a rack and a hijack open to $20, and we look down at king queen suited suited on the button. Normally it's a 3-bet, but there are racks on the blind, so I would like to play the pots with them. So I just put in a call, and now small blind 3-bet to 105. Hijack folds, action on us. We have the best position post flop. We have a suited Broadway, so we put in a call, heads up to a flop of 6-6 deuce with 2 spades. We have a flush draws here. Small blind continue to bet $115. We put in a call and turns a deuce of club. He checks it over, so what is his range? His overpairs is still barreling. Because look, there are so many hands that he can get value from. Pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s. But also I understand some of them may check back their overpairs because they are afraid of me getting a 6 or a deuce. But I think with our hand here we got king high, actually some showdown value versus queen high and jack high. And we still have a flush draws ongoing, so I like to check it back and realize the river. River's a 4 of hearts. We miss our flush draw and he check it over again. So what is his range here? Actually, I think he has a lot of ace-x like ace-king, ace-queen. But in game, I think I still got some showdown value. So I just elect to check it back and he shows king-jack offsuit and we chop this one up.
It's coaching time.
I don't like it.
Why? Why don't you like it?
Why? When he checked the turn, what's the best hand he could have? When he checked the river, what's the best hand he could have?
Ace king?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just get ace king to fold.
Yeah. What am I checking back? I don't know. Pairing the turn, that means he could be checking some overpair sometimes. That's why I check back the turn. Yeah, I think the check back on the turn makes some sense, but on the river, makes no sense.
Yeah, because like on the river, does he ever check kings or queens?
Yep, never.
Again? Yeah, so I mean, you could just get the ace high to fold on the river. Like, my question would be on the river, like, if you did have pocket 10s on this river or something like that, like, what size would you bet with pocket 10s to try to get ace king to call?
Yeah, I'm betting 150.
Go 300. Just get the ace high to fold, and you just win this pot 100% of the time.
Big pot alert! In this hand, buttons rattles to $10. That means the small blind is the first to act. Small blind opens to $30. Big blind folds. Actions on us, and we look down at ace king suited under the gun, and we makes it to $100. Wow! And low jack cut off button cold call the 3-bet. And now small blind helps me. He goes all in for $725 effective. Actions on us, what should we do? If I got aces or kings, I would probably just flat here. But we got ace king here, we need to make the pot heads up. So I just rip it in, going all in for $1,700 effective. Everybody else get out of the way, and we are heads up all in with the small blind. We agree to run it twice. First run out is 10-6-5, turns a 4, reverse an 8. And the second run out is king 5 deuce, turns a jack, reverse a 3. Small blind tables Freddie McCurry, and we chop this one up. Hey guys, this is Tommy and we are in Florida now. Tonight we finished the first session here at Sarasota, a poker room called One Eye Jacks. Wow, actually I enjoy playing in that poker room. The floors are nice, the players are so kind, the table dynamic is just so friendly. I really enjoy playing there, but for the first session, we lost $600 and some change in 6.5 hours. And Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. And I'll see you guys in the next session. Alright, second session in this episode, and we're still playing 2-5 at One Eye Jacks poker room, so let's get started. First hand here, cut off and button lean. We look down at 10-8 offsuit on the big blind, so we check. 3 ways to a flop of 8-8-5 with 2 hearts. I check it over and the flop goes check through. Turns a 9 of clubs, so what are their range? I think when they check back the flop, they don't have any pairs, but it's a multi-way pot, so I think they would sometimes check back some flush draws. So on this turn, I can lead out to target flush draws and 9x. But on the other hand, if I check, I think those hands are gonna start betting. So I like to check it and cut off bets $15 into 12. Button calls, so I think it's time to put in a check raise. I check raise to $125, targeting flush draws, 9x to continue. Cut off calls, button get out of the way, so we're heads up to the river, which comes a bang. A 10 of hearts. We make the full house. And this river also completes the front door flush. So what is his range? When he call out check raise on the turn, I think he either have a 9 or a flush draws. So I would like to choose a size here which 9x would call and a flush would raise. So I bet $75 into 277 and he calls. We show our hand and we are good. But when I'm reviewing this hand, I think there is an other option that I can consider. If the cutoff player is passive, they might not be raising. I could just go fairy back here, targeting flushes.
It's coaching time.
Let's talk about the river. Why do you think you messed up on the river?
If the reverse of a backdoor flush completes, my play would be better. But is a front door flush completes, and when they check back their turn, they got not that much flush draws.
If they're the type of player who's going to raise and be aggressive when they do hit a flush on the river, what would they do with their flush draw on the flop?
They will bet, for sure.
The two different ideas I like on this river are checking, letting this guy bet when he does have a flush, and then just going for the check raise. Or number two, just going really, really big and saying, screw everything else. I'm just going to maximize value against a backdoor heart draw. Even if you go 75 here, you look so strong when you check raise the turn, the board's paired. Even if guys have a backdoor flush here, they just call you. They're much more likely to call a big bet than to raise thinly. I don't even think they consider raising unless they have a boat.
So you would not target a 9x.
I don't think you're winning much money from 9x on the river. Like maybe you win 75, maybe you win what you bet here. But like I feel like you're missing so much value against flushes. Just go big or check. Like if they're a little bit more on the aggro side, checking is cool because they'll bet the flushes. You miss out a little value from Jack 10, which probably checks back, but like you can check raise and get in a lot against the flushes. Or you just go with a small overbet here and target the Jack 10 and the flushes.
Second and here we're playing double board PLO bump pot. We got ace, king, queen 5 single suited in the small blind. First board is ace, king 3 and the second board is king 7, 5. We check it over to the button who bets $60. We have the top 2 pair on the first board and the top pair on the second board. We put in a call. Everybody else folds. We are heads up to the turn, which comes an 8 of spades for board 1 and a deuce of spades for board 2. We check it over to him and he bets $125 into 185. Top 2 pair, top pair, so we put in a call. Reverse a 4 of diamonds for board 1 and an 8 of hearts for board 2. We check it over to him who bets $375. So what should we do now? Obviously, raising is not an option. Actually, I don't think folding's an option. I mean, I think I got pretty good hand on both board. It's pretty less likely that I'm losing both boards, so I just put in a call and he tables ace, king, 7, 7. He also got top 2 pair on the first board and he got a set on the second board, and we get quartered. Next hand here, we open to $25 from the cutoff with ace 5 offsuit. Big blind calls, heads up to a flop of 6-3 deals with 2 hearts. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet $25 into 47 and surprisingly he check raised to $100. So what is his range? I think he can have all the sets here or even some straights like 5-4, and I also see a world that he will be check raising with bluffs like flush draws or straight draws. So for our hand here, we still have a straight draw, and also if he have a sets or 2 pair, I think if the turn comes a flushing card or a straightening card, we could possibly use those cards to bluff him off sets and 2 pairs. So I would like to put in a call. So heads up to the turn, which comes a deuce of clubs. Now he bets $200 into 247. So what is his range? I think his flush draws that check raise bluff on the flop is gonna stop betting. So most of the time I think he has a bolt here. Even if we hit our ace or the straight on the river, we could be already dead. So I just fold. Big pot alert! In this hand, straddles on to $10. We open to $40 on the hijack with queen 10 of diamonds. Straddle calls, heads up to a flop of 10-9-7 rainbow. He checks it over in a single raise pot. I'm just range betting small. I bet $40 into 82 and surprisingly he check raised to $125. So what is his range? I think he could have some 2 pairs, some sets, but also I think this player is aggressive enough to put in a check raise with bluffs, hands like straight draws, queen jack, or some pair with straight draws like 10-8 or 9-8. We have a top pair here. I'm not folding yet, so we put in a call and turns an 8 of diamonds. And interestingly, straddle checks it over. So what is his range? I think if an aggressive player check raise their straight draws as a bluff on the flop, they're just going to continue betting when they hit their straights on the turn. So when he checks it over, I think he doesn't have a straights here. He may still have hands like 10-9, 9-7, some pocket 7s, pocket 9s. So I would like to start bluffing with our top pair here because I think I'm deep enough to make him fold his sets on the river, especially on this 1 card straightening board. So I bet $250 into 3-3-2. straddle calls, and rivers a 3 of hearts. When I'm putting myself together ready to put in a big boy all-in bluff, surprisingly he leads $500 into 832. I mean, it changes the whole story. I don't think he would lead with his sets or 2 pairs here. He's just getting greedy with his tricks because he's just afraid that we will check back on the river. And you know why bluffing is so profitable? Because they will just let us off the hook. So I like to fold, and he shows Queen Jack for the nut straight. He just saves me $1,000. Things are not going on our way, but we still need to continue playing our best poker, so let's continue. Hijack opened to $20. We look down at Jack 8 suited on the cutoff, and we're 3-bet to $75. Hijack calls, heads up to a flop of Queen 10 deuce rainbow. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm just range betting small. Yes, this 3-bet is a little bit light, but this for crucial players he plays face up, so I think it's fine. Anyway, I bet $50 into 152 and he calls. Turns an ace of spades. He checks it over, so what is his range? I think when he calls our small size on the flop, he could have some queen X, some 10x, some straight draws. So on this turn, I would like to bet small again because I would like him to raise hands like ace 10 or ace queen. So I bet $80 into 252 and he folds. Next hand here, we put in a straddle on the button, cut off leaves. We look down at ace 10 offsuit on the button and we ISO to $75. Cut off calls, heads up to a flop of Queen Jack 7. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm just betting small. I bet $75 into 152 and he calls. Turns a 4 of spades when he checks it over, so what is his range? I think if he has 2 pairs or sets or combo draws on the flop, most of the time he would just be raising. So on the turn, I would like to choose the biggest size that a queen will call and planning to go for the range fold on the river. So I bet $300 about a pot size bet, but surprisingly cutoff moves all in for $1,375. Alright, we got ace high here, we can call, but I don't really know what is his range. Maybe he slow played his sets or 2 pairs on the flop. This is just never a bluff, so we can only fold again. Big pot alert. Button puts in a straddle, big blind limps, under the gun ISO to $65, and we look down at ace queen offsuit in the low jack. We 3-bet to 150, button and big blind get out of the way, under the gun calls, so we heads up to the flop which comes 10 8 5 with 2 spades. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet $100 into 322 and he calls. Turns a 7 of spades, completing the frontal flush. When he checks it over, I would like to choose a small size to cap him, because if he hit a flush on the turn, he would just raise for us. But if he doesn't raise, we have the green lights to barrel on the river. So I bet $150 into 522. Under the gun calls, rivers a jack of spades, making it a full flush board. And surprisingly, he leads for $375. Alright, we got no spade in our hand. He is never bluffing, so I just fold, and he shows us ace king of spades. We are bluffing into the nuts again.
It's coaching time.
When the straddle is on, do people open tighter or wider?
Tighter.
When somebody limps from up front, do people open tighter or wider?
Tighter.
When someone opens to 6.5x, tighter or wider?
Tighter.
What is their range when they open to 6.5x with the straddle on when somebody limps from up front? What's the worst hand they ISO with?
I still think I'm ahead of many hands.
A what? A what hand?
King, queen.
You think they... okay, hold on. You think they ISO king, queen to 6.5x when the straddle's on when a player limps from early position?
All right, I take it back.
This ISO range is going to be equivalent to like an early position 3-bet range. It's probably just going to be like 10s plus or jacks plus and like ace king.
Yeah, but what happened if we call? We're gonna just bring in a lot of people. We're playing a 4-way pot with ace high.
Well, who said you had to call, sir? If his range here is really like 10s or jacks plus and ace king, why would we call ace queen? If you had aces here, what size would you 3-bet to?
265.
Why?
He has a strong range, and I want him to easy call to put in 2 more hundreds.
I've got a musket pointed at your head. This guy flips over pocket jacks or ace king offsuit. You think he's folding for 365?
Nope.
All right.
In this hand, we put in a straddle on the button. Small blind limps, EP ISO to $75, cutoff calls. We looked at an ace-3 suited on the button. We put in a call, small blind call as well, so we have 4 ways to a flop of ace-jack-9 rainbow. They all check it to us. I think my top pair here has some kicker problem, so I would like to check it back and evaluate the turn. Turns a 6 of hearts, small blind checks, and EP now bets $50 into 300s. Cutoff calls, actions on us, so what are their range? I don't think EP is betting a strong a6 with this size, so I think they can have some straight draws, some flush draws, some jack X, and when the cutoff calls behind him, I think he is on draws also. So I would like to value raise here. I raise to $200, targeting flush draws or pair plus flush draws, but unfortunately, they all fold. Alright, second last hand of the session, we open on the button with Queen 8 suited. Small blind 3-bet to $100. It's not the best hand to call a 3-bet, but we are in position, we are pretty deep behind. I want to play with this guy too, so we put in a call. Heads up to a flop of Queen 5 deals with 2 spades. Small blind bet $75 is like a range bet to me. We have the top pair here, so we put in a call. Turns a 10 of hearts, and small blind continue to bet $150. So what is his range? I think if he happens to have pocket aces, pocket kings, or even ace queen here, he is betting bigger than $150. So I think he is bluffing with ace queen, ace jack. Maybe he still won the betting lead by betting pocket jacks, pocket nines. I don't know why those hands are gonna bet, but I've seen some, so yeah, we have the top pair here. I'm not folding yet, so we put in a call and reverse the 7 of diamonds. And interestingly, small blind checks it over. So what is his range? If he has ace queen, pocket kings, pocket aces, I don't think he is stop betting on this river. So I think there are many ace high in his range. So most of the time we have the best hand here. And I would like to bet very small. I like to go $50 into 650, targeting him to call with ace high, and also he is an aggressive player. When an aggressive player faces this kind of tiny bets, I may be able to induce him to put in a raise. So I bet 50, small blind calls, we table a hand, and we are good. Huge pot alert. In the last hand of this session, the straddles on low jack limps, we looked at a pocket 8s in the hijack. One thing I need to point out here is the straddle players has about $250 effective. So the sizing I choose here, I want it to be less than half of his stack, because if he rip it in, we can just reshove to shut out everybody else calling behind us. So I go $75, cutoff calls, and straddle follows our plan. He moves all in for $250 effective. Low jack folds, cutoff and us got about 1500 effective, and this player is kind of tricky, gambly. Maybe the best move here is to go all in, but in my mind at that time, I think he might be trapping some of the time if he realized that the straddle is gonna shove a lot. So I didn't go all in, I just raised to $500. I think that size is enough to fold our cutoff because he have just put in $75, but not this time. He liked to call, so we have 3 ways to a flop. One player is already went all in, and the flop comes 10-3 deals with 2 diamonds. So what is his range when he called the $75 and call out $500? To be honest, for this player, I don't really have a clue. So on this flop, I like to check it over to him because I would like to have some info from his bet sizing if he bets on the flop. We check it to him and he checks it back. Turns a 6 of diamonds, completing the front door flush. The pot is now 1k, so what is his range? If he has a 10x, he will start betting. If he has a flush draw, he will start betting. So on this turn, I think I'm mostly ahead. And also, I think this player is very gambly. If he happens to have some offsuit Broadway, King Jack with the King of Diamonds, he is that kind of player which will call a big size chasing his draws. So actually, I just go all in here, putting 1.7k out there, because I just don't think he would be folding if he has a flush draws. He tanks and tanks and tanks, and finally folded his hand. We take down the side pot and we agree to run it twice with the straddle players. First run out is a Queen of Diamonds and the second run out is a 6 of Spades. He tabled King Queen offsuit and the main pot is chopped. Hey guys, second session done. Today we are still losing. I lost $700 and some change in 3 hours and 45 minutes. Pretty bad run. Every bluffing spot we took, they got nuts, but anyway, it's a part start of the game, so Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. I'll see you guys in the next session. Alright, first hand of the third session, and we're playing 5-10 at One Eye Jack's poker room, so let's get started. We opened at $50 in the low jack with pocket 8s. Cutoff and button call, so we're 3 ways to a flop, which comes 7-5-3 with 2 diamonds. In a single ace pot, multiple players behind us. When I think the board is probably going to be overstepped, I would like to check my range. I check it over, cutoff checks 2, and the button's now bet $175 into 160. So what is his range? The alarm is already ringing for us. I think he have strong hands like combo draws, some 2 pairs of sets, but we still got an overpair here. He may be betting big with ace-7, so I like to call one barrel here and see how things transparent on the turn. So I put in a call, cutoff call 2, so we are 3 ways to a turn, which comes an ace of hearts. We checks it over, and cutoff now bets $500 into 685. Button calls. When an ace come on the turn, a player leads big and the button still calls. Our hand is just never good here. I think some of them may have 2 pairs like ace-7, and the other player may have some combo draws or sets. So I just folded. River's a queen of club, and it goes check. And let's see what he got. Button tables, pocket 5s, and the cutoff shows the ace of diamonds. So the thing I learned in this hand is, when it chooses a big overbet size on the flop, even if we got an overpair, we can just close our eyes and fold it because their range is just too strong. Big pot alert. In this hand, a professional in the low jack opened to $30, and we look down at pocket 8 on the button. There is a recreational player that I want to play with on the big blind, so I like to flat our pocket 8s here. Big blind call, so we have 3 ways to a flop, which comes queen, queen, 6, rainbow. So when the low jack checks it over to us, I think he doesn't have pocket aces, he doesn't have pocket kings, so I would like to small bets here, denying some equity of ace king, and also getting some value from 6-6, so I go $30 into 90. Big blind calls, low jack get out of the way, so we heads up to the turn, which comes a bang! An 8 of diamonds. When the big blind checks it over, yes, we have a boat. We have a very strong hand, but it doesn't mean we can bet big, because look at his range when he called the flop. He could have some 6x, he could have some pocket pairs like pocket 7s, pocket 9s, and also he might still slow play some queen x on the flop. So by betting small on the turn, 6x or pocket 7s may continue, which is drawing that. So I go $50 into 150, and the big blind calls. River's a 4 of clubs, and now interestingly, big blind leads $300 into 250, over betting the pot. So now, what is his range? I think he can have a queen, or he might hit a full house with pocket 4s on the river. So I asked myself the inverse question: how much would I raise to fold out a queen? I got about $2,000 behind. I don't think I could fold out a queen with my stack depth behind. So I move all in, putting 2k effective in there. Big blind tanks, and finally he makes the call. We show our hand and we are good, and big blind show the queen of clubs. Thanks God, it feels so good. Alright, in this hand, hijack blank straddle to $20, and we look down at pocket 10s in the cutoff. We make it to $75, and interestingly, small blind 3-bet to $275. Hijack folds actions on us. We are starting this hand with $900 effective, so what is his range when he 3-bets? I mean, this player is very aggressive. I think he would 3-bet any broadweights, any ace-x suited. So for our pocket 10s here, I think it's strong enough to go for all of it. So I move all in about $900 effective. He calls. We agree to run it twice. First run out is ace, king, queen, turns a 9, rivers a 7, and the second run out is jack 3 deuce, turns a 6, and rivers a 4. We show our hand, and he tables ace 4 suited, and we chop this up eventually. Next hand here, low jack open to $40, hijack calls. We look down at ace 10 suited in the cutoff. Normally I would just squeeze this hand, but in game I like to call because I would like to invite the blinds to come along. Anyway, we're 4 ways to a flop, which comes 10, 8, 4 rainbow. They check it over to us. In a multi-way pot, I'm just betting my good hands. With the top pair top kicker here, I start betting $75 into 165. Small blind calls, everybody else get out of the way, so we're heads up to the turn, which comes a king of spades. Checks it over. Our hand is kind of thin to showdown value, so I elect to check it back. Rivers a 5 of spades. The pot is now 315, and interestingly, small blind dunks $400, over betting the pot. So what is his range? When he called a flop, he could have some 10x, some 8x, some straight draws like Jack 9, but I just don't think the missed draws are betting this amount on the river, because when recreational players, when they're out of position, if they are bluffing, they would like to choose a smaller size. So I think it's value heavy. He might have hands like King 10, King 8, or he hit a straight on the river with 7-6. So I like to fold our Ace 10 here, and he claims he got King 10 after the hand. In this hand, we're playing double board PLO bomb pot, and we are on the big blind with 10-7-7-5. First board is 10-9-3, and the second board is 9-8-6. We have the nuts on the second board. Flop goes check through, turns a 7 of spades for board 1 and a 5 of diamonds for board 2. And now we have the set of 7s on the first board and still the nuts on the second board. Small blind bets pot, actions on us. I really not sure about raising or calling here. Actually, I think raising is better, but in-game I like to call. Under the gun, EP, hijack, and button calls too, so we are 6 ways to the river, which comes a queen of spades for board 1 and a 3 of spades for board 2. There is a flush possibility on board 1. Small blind check it over to us. I don't really know should I be betting here, but my plan was to check it. If some players start betting their flush on the river, I would just back shove. I check it over, but unfortunately it goes check through on the river. And hijack tables Ace 10-6-4. He has a 6 high flush on the first board, and we chop this one up.
It's coaching time.
Now on the turn, holy shit, Tommy, look at this hand. You have a set, and I believe you still have the nuts.
When I have 2 boards probably locked, I want many people to call, right?
Yeah. Okay, but let me ask you this. When the small blind bets 160 into 14 people here on the turn, what is his range? Do you think the small blind is planning on bet folding?
No. He's first to act, never.
Like, the thing is, if you get in all the money with the small blind here, you're gonna be in amazing shape. Pile it in and just like quarter this guy or stack him. You're free
I would
rolling.
do this now, but I don't know.
Tommy, he's holding up a blinking red sign that says, I am never folding. And you have the nuts and a hand that can make the nuts. Put it in, quarter this guy, scoop him, get all his money. In this situation, you're just gonna get a bunch of people coming in behind you who have a flush draw on the bottom board, a straight draw and a flush draw on the top board, and you're just letting people realize their equity.
I hate bombas. I lost a lot of money in bombas. I'm a dumb.
Oh, I can see why. I can see why you lost a lot of money. Before you were way too aggressive, and now you're way too passive in the bomb pots. Just ask, like, what is my hand in cent? Like, what do I want to do?
I want to lose all my money. Let the people catch up their flushes and shit.
Yeah, that's what you did.
That's what I did. Alright, second last hand of the session, the straddle's on the button to $20. Small blind, big blind, and low jack limb, and we look down at ace jack offsuit in the cutoff. We ISO to $150. Button, big blind, and low jack call, so we're 4 ways to a flop of, you know what, ace jack 4 with 2 hearts. Look at the sweet baby there. Here it comes. And now big blind moves all in for $90 effective. Low jack folds actions on us. I raise it up to $400. Because if the button have an ace, he's not folding. If the button have a flush draws or combo draws, he's not folding. I'm not going to flat the $90 to give a good price to the button for his draws. So the button folds, we're heads up all in, turns a 4 of spades, reverses a 7 of diamonds. We show our hand. He tables ace 3 offsuit, and we take down this pot. Alright, last hand of this session. The straddle's on the hijack to $20. A professional in the cutoff make it to $80. And we looked at a king jack suited on the button. Versus a professional open, my 3-betting range will just be polar. That means the strongest of my continue range and the weakest of my continue range. King jack suited is somewhere between, so I put in a call. Small blind, big blind, and hijack call, so we have 5 ways to a flop, which comes king 8 deuce with 2 spades. They all check to us. If I could redo this, I will just start betting here, because when the cutoff checks, I don't think he has pocket aces, I don't think he has ace king, I don't think he has king queen, so most of the time we have the best hand here. But I missed that in game. I just check it back and turns a queen of hearts. They all check to us again, and I am not going to check back here anymore. I bet $200 into 395, targeting hands like flush draws, straight draws, queen eggs, or wicked king eggs. Actually, I think I can go bigger here, somewhere like $300 to $400, because flush draws are not folding, straight draws are not folding, if they have combo draws they are not folding. But anyway, I bet half pot, only the hijack calls, and we're heads up to a river which comes a jack of spades, completing the front door flush. And now hijack bets $600 into 800. So what is his range? I mean, when a recreational players lead out big on this flush completing river, I just don't see that many times they are bluffing. They got to have a flush here. I don't think our hand is good, so I just fold. And hijack shows us 9 deuce offsuit. Alright. Good bluff. You win. So we got bluffed on the last hand, and we will call it a day. Hello guys, finally we book a win. Today we play 5-10 at One Eye Jack's poker room. We win 1.1k in 4 hours and 30 minutes. So pretty good session for us. Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session.